Hello learners, this is Pradeep Nayak here, CEO of Fuel Media Solutions Private Limited. I welcome you all to another exciting session on event management, and today we're going to talk about MICE events. In my previous session, we spoke about different types of events. We also spoke about business events, and we did cover upon MICE events in brief. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about MICE events in detail, and for me to make you understand MICE events in detail, help me share a presentation. So what is MICE events? So MICE is an acronym for meetings, incentives, conferences or conventions, which is called the another name for conferences, and exhibition. The image here gives you a brief idea about what we're going to talk about. So though under business type, under business events, we did speak about meetings and conferences or incentive travel, etc. But today we're going to talk about a little more in detail as to what these events are and what do they mean to the industry. So the image that you're looking at is a small glimpse of what we're going to talk about further. MICE events. The first image that you see is a picture taken from an incentive travel. The second image that you're seeing on the top is about an exhibition that's happening at a particular trade office, and the third one you're seeing is a conference that is happening at a particular location with a set of panelists. So what is MICE? So it is one of the fastest, so meeting, incentives, conference, convention, exhibition is what, and events what we have discussed. But how is this sector? So this is it's an acronym that is used for the amalgamation of all four types. But of late, what has happened is that they're slowly moving it from calling it into MICE and calling it into meeting industry, because this is something that people have used when tourism comes into place. So any events, meetings and conferences happen in our own country, our own city, our own district, etc. But when we're doing such formats, when we're doing such events in a different country, in a different destination, in a different state altogether, it comes under tourism. So that's the reason how MICE as a word acronym came into picture, and MICE tourism is something that become a common phenomena that everybody started to follow. So MICE tourism has the maximum potential across the globe amongst various forms of tourism. The concept actually started in Europe and America almost like a century, like 100 years back is what they say. With changing in trends, the global economy, people started moving from one country to another for businesses. When countries opened up for globalization, with a lot of technological advances that happened, they had to share this knowledge. So this is what further strength and grown to much what we call today is a destination and index of economy. India being an emerging market in the MICE industry and experiential marketing, with the reason being India is a vast country with the kind of population that we have and the kind of cultural offerings that we have. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, you will come across hundreds of different types of cultures. So India plays a very important role. And with the globalization that is happening, people are exploring India as the future hub for MICE events. So meetings and conferences, let me start touch upon the first aspect of it under MICE. So what is meetings and conferences? So how did it start? So the rising need of brand awareness or global expansion or technology sharing or anything of that matter further kind of snowballed into creating something like meetings, workshops, conferences, etc. And now that further created opportunities into creating meetings are mostly small format, conferences are big format, and always done with a certain agenda or certain topic, right? So that's how meetings and conferences, where they bring people together with a common interest in order to exchange ideas, or it could be a less formal gathering, or it could be of any scale. Meetings are, however, different scale, like 30, 40, 50, or maximum 100, but conferences do not have any scale. But however, they don't go exorbitant, like you can't have a conference for 10,000, 30,000 people. It can happen for a few hundreds or few thousands only. So in today's world, the major emerging aspect of market segmentation, positioning of brand, and hotel meetings, facilities, etc. is a different way of marketing. So what they have done is that, I'll just give an example, is how Hilton has done. So Hilton's worldwide branded product is called as Meeting Simplified. All right, I'm sorry for the correction. So the Hilton's worldwide branded product is called Meeting Simplified. So Hilton being a a property brand, or a brand which has so many hotels across the world. So, and they are the facilitators for a lot of meetings and conferences that happen in their venue. So they made it very to promote more of MICE events in their properties. They made it something like Meeting Simplified. The reason being, most of their properties are used for these kind of meetings and conferences. So that's how this came into play. And since the meetings, I'll give one example. Um, if it is if there is a meeting, for example, if it's a company called ITC, you might all have heard of it. So ITC wants to talk about a particular new segment that it is launching. So it might not do it in its head office, which might be in Kolkata, or it could be in Bombay. So what it will do is it will take a destination and they will do a meeting and a conference there, where they will invite all the stakeholders. They probably will fly down all the stakeholders to one particular destination. It could be Goa, it could be Vancouver, it could be Spain, it could be anywhere. Then the meeting would happen there. So this would come under MICE. But if it's happening in their own head office or their own city and everything, it might not be called under MICE. But yes, it will come under meetings and conferences. So that's a small difference, not much of a confusion. So that is one. Now let's look upon incentives. So what are incentives? The name itself is self-explanatory. Incentive. So like, you do this, you get this, you do this, you get this, and all this kind of things, which we've been fed since our childhood. I'm sure, like, you finish this task, you will get this. You finish your homework, you get this. So incentive is something that we all have grown up to, and we all have been using it in a different strata of life, right? So that is what it is all about here. So the category of incentives includes trips and travel, training, away days, or team building. So incentive travel is something that started later, but incentive as such started because it's for rewarding and motivating sales representative in companies which is purely into sales. Could be like, I'm sure, I'm just talking, giving some names like Euroca Forbes or Max Life Insurance or ICICI Prudential, etc. All these insurance companies which is also into sales. So just to motivate their employees or the sales team, so rewarding and motivating their sales, or the dealers, so ACC Cement or Ambuja Cement or anybody, to kind of motivate the dealers to do more business, or gratify the dealers who have done very good business, or to the distributors, to the production workers, to the support staff. In some cases, customers also. Some customers is like as a part of the national challenge that they do, no? Like 100 lucky winners get to fly to Dubai, and 200 lucky winners fly to get to USA, etc. So those are a part of incentive travel. So the company rewards sales representative who reaches sales target by sending them on trips. And usually the incentive comes with hotel stays, tour packages, and planned activities such as dinners, parties, and games. So what exactly happens is that, for example, if it's for a sales company, like, let me take an example. Let me take a name. For example, Eureka Forbes. Eureka Forbes identifies 100 top performing sales people in the organization as per their target that they have achieved for that financial year. And they say this 100 employees get the opportunity to go to Sri Lanka for 3 days, or 2 nights and 3 days, and something like that. So what happens? The event company, the event management agency would plan the entire activity. How all these 100 people who might be from different parts of the country come to one single destination. From there, how would they fly to Sri Lanka, or could be to Colombo? From there, which hotel they will go to, where they will stay, and that entire 3 days is like kind of planned or scheduled. Like, what will, like, once they get up in the morning, what they're going to do after breakfast, when will they have some kind of briefing, they will have field trips, or they will get to do sightseeing in the evening, what kind of activity they will have, or what kind of team building activity they'll be playing, or what kind of entertainment that they will be kind of exposed to. So everything will be planned and executed by an event management agency. So the entire process has a multiple levels of agencies involved, which we're going to talk about a little later. But yeah, pretty much. So incentives is what? So the market for incentive segment is driven by the rapid growth in the travel and tourism. So if you see 10 years back, if you ask 100 people how many of you have traveled abroad, there would be 10, 20 people saying, yes, I've traveled abroad. Today, 2020, you ask like the number of people who have traveled abroad, you would see at least 70% of them saying, yes, I've traveled abroad, even if it is a small, even if it's a neighboring country like Sri Lanka, China, or could be Thailand, or could be Dubai or Singapore, anything for that matter. But yes, everybody would have traveled at least one particular country. So that's the amount of globalization that we have reached today, and more countries are kind of advertising and reaching out to different each other's countries to promote tourism. So that is a part of our incentive. Next is the exhibition. So what is exhibition? Exhibition is purely display, show and sale of the same. And the core concept of exhibition is presentation of goods and services at one common location. This could be the purpose of there could be sale, or could be display, or could be purely demo, or it also could be non-commercial where they just want to display like artifacts or rare ancient arts or something. It's like an exhibition. We talk about no old antique exhibition things where you can't buy things, you just get to see them. So in recent times, a new term also has come, something called convex. It's a mix of exhibition and conference. So most of the exhibition that have are like, for example, the business related. We talk about like the XCon that happens, or the BC India that happens in. You can just Google and see what I'm referring to. So XCon, BC India, Imtex, Tooltech, AceTech. This is a big level format exhibitions that happen in different cities. And similarly, these kind of exhibitions happen, like we talk about the Auto Expo that happens in Delhi, or we talk about the German auto car show that happens in Munich, or many such events, across the world it happens. So people travel all the way there to do business there, to see new launches there, to see new products, to know like update yourself with newer technologies, etc. And also there'll be parallel conferences that will be happening where they talk about individual products. So that's why a lot of such formats are called as conference. It's just a casual term that has been used of late, but yes, it is very much into play. So exhibitions also play a very, very important role in terms of being a part of MICE. So exhibition that is done to promote a particular location along with a positioning in that particular city or a destination comes under MICE. Next, what is the benefit of MICE sector? So why is it like has been put together and how it is? So I told you, see, meetings and conferences do happen in your city. They're called meetings and conferences, but it happens in destination. It comes under MICE. Incentives and similarly exhibitions. So what is the benefit? Why did this acronym come into place? And what are the benefits that they offer? So the direct benefit is very simple. It directly benefits the entrepreneurs in the tourism sector. Just an example, like for example, if there's a global investors meet that happens in Bangalore, okay, so what happens? A lot of investors from across the world will come to Bangalore. They get to see Bangalore. They see Bangalore as an opportunity to invest. They see the infrastructure of the city. They see the people, the weather, etc. They make a decision there. Okay. Similarly, if I am invited to a different country, it could be Spain, it could be thing. I will definitely look at that country from a more refined perspective than what I've been seeing it on Google, etc. Right. So that is one direct benefit. Second, it boosts the local economy. So one such example that I would want to give here, based on the case study that I did, was on the IFI award that is done by Wizcraft. So if you all have noticed very, very carefully, IFI is something that I used to. That's a film fraternity award function that happens every year. But the thing that is a little different about IFI is that it is hosted in one foreign country every year. So it is once in Canada, then in Spain, then in so many cities, like across the world. They just travel. It happened in Dubai, etc. So one such incident which I got to like through Sabas, who's one of the co-founders of Wizcraft, got to hear that is that one particular location when they hosted, I think it's a part of USA, one city, one state where it was hosted. What they promised, it was overbooked. For example, there was some 10 hotels in that vicinity, 10 big hotels. I'm not talking about small hotels, hotels which have capacity of 300, 400 rooms. So hotels, all the hotels got like booked, okay, booked 6 months prior. A lot of celebrities who came to that city got to see the city. A lot of people from across the United States traveled to that particular state just to see the film star, because IFA is something where you will have at least 50, 60 film actors like the Bachchans or the Akshay Kumar, Hrithik Roshan, etc. coming there. So this is an opportunity for Shah Rukh Khan, etc. coming there. The opportunity for everybody to see. So there was a huge influx of tourism that happened there. So all of a sudden, the economy of that particular state for that financial year, all of a sudden, it took a upward turn and it boosted a lot of things for that state, and that state came into the limelight. So that is how it boosts the local economy. Now, it benefits the chosen city through economic growth and also gives greater touristic prominence to the city. Exactly was what I was discussing. It's like if there is something, for example, if it happens in Spain, okay, I will give another option. I'll give another very, very good example. The very good example is the Aero Show that happens in Bangalore. So Aero Show happens. It's a event. It happens once in 2 years. All right, so I forgot the term of it, but yeah, once in 2 years it happens. And when it happens in Bangalore, you see all of a sudden every set of businesses are involved in it. As simple as that, I'm telling, all the hotels in Bangalore, the five-star properties are booked, sold out, sorry, booked, sold out 6 months in advance. So what happened? The revenue across all hotels are good. Okay. All of a sudden in the Bangalore, the tourism, there are like tourism companies who are doing city tours and in and around Bangalore, like Mysore or Srirangpatna or Coorg and everything, all of a sudden we'll see a lot of influx in the tourists coming to this state. So that is the advantage that it offers, is a greater touristic prominence to the city. So when people from so many different countries, like 130 country people come to Bangalore on during that time, it's an event which has 4 to 5 lakh people who visit that event. So that is one. It creates new jobs such as the professionals hired to host the event. Yes. When we do these events in towns or cities which is much smaller in nature, which is much lesser in terms of economy, it kind of indirectly creates economic opportunities for people to work on it. So if there are sets which would take, like for example, if Olympics that happen or Commonwealth that happens in that particular country, in fact, for if you look at the FIFA that is supposed to happen in Saudi or Qatar, I guess, in 2021, look at the amount of investment. It runs into billions. Okay, and the planning for that happens for 4 to 5 years. So 4 to 5 years, it is offered employment to another lakh of people, and that 4 to 5 amount of money that is invested. So that is how, that is another it creates when it is hosted the amount of. But with MICE, what happens is that it is constantly done in different cities and everything. So the local tourism creates, like for example, we do one small entertainment program in Sri Lanka in the night, where we want to showcase the local uh, culture of Sri Lanka, or the artistic culture of Sri Lanka. Normally, they would perform once or twice in a year during big functions that happen in their city. But now, since we have tourists coming every once in 15 days, they have to do the shows again and again. So it creates an economic opportunity for those artists to earn from those shows that they're going to do. This is another. It benefits professionals such as taxi drivers, hoteliers, small business owners, and boosts cultural tourism. Traveling, visiting the city, go to places such as galleries, museum shows. So it's indirectly beneficial to everybody who is involved or directly or indirectly connected to tourism, right? So when we allow all the employees, the people who have taken the for like 100, 200 people, and a day that you be on your own, you can roam around, you can do shopping, etc. Automatically, people do tend to spend there, right? So this is few benefits that I have listed, which creates under the my sector. I also spoke about different agencies who are involved in the process of MICE, right? So generally, MICE travel involves a lot of preparation work. They need to provide a full range of travel and conference services for large or small group. It could be 30 people or it could be 3,000 people, and prepare events of shorter and longer durations to meet the different demands of the MICE host. So some event, as I told you, could be for 2 days, some could be for 7, some could be for 10, and some can be 30 people, some can be 3,000 people also. So the major players in the MICE, the major no, the I would say the people who are involved in MICE field include, one is corporate meeting planners, that is event management agencies, meeting and convention departments of the hotels, because these hotels have such big conventions that they have dedicated events team or the convention managers who coordinate with the event managers to facilitate or to smoothen the entire function, because people are coming to a different country, they should feel comfortable. There should not be any kind of confusions in terms of bookings, etc., any kind of visa, everything. So they help them a lot. Secondly, the conference centers or the cruise ship. So this is something that I missed, which I'll talk about just after this point. Okay, food and beverage managers, logistics firm, private tour operators, transfer companies, incentive houses, professional trade organization, tourism boards, tourism trade associations, and travel and selling professionals. So many people are involved. Okay, so I will just talk about one person. Like of late, in terms of my cruise ship has taken a very good lead, I would say. A lot of companies are hosting the incentive tour program on cruise ship. Like it's a 3-day cruise from Singapore to Austria or anywhere for that matter, and then you have the entire 3 days planned there. What, so you know, a cruise ship. A lot of people would have seen Titanic, something of that. It's a huge ship. There's like there are malls inside that. There is amusement park inside. There is multi-level banquets there, and all kinds of entertainment is there. So the entire 3-4 days of the journey in the sea is planned, and the entertainment activity is planned. So that's something which is leading there. And tourism board. So what happens is countries like Singapore, countries like Turkey, etc., they come to India, they come to meet event managers, tell them what their country has to offer. you get 100 people there in terms of, as a part of the incentive program or part of the meetings and etc., then what will the government or the tourism board of that government support, etc. So a lot of people are involved in this. And also the tourism boards or the governments, which I talk about, the trade organizations, professional trade organizations, they facilitate the easy movement of your visa and documentation, passport, etc., country to country movement, and also give us some emergency support in terms of any emergency that happens at that location. So a lot of people are involved in the entire process of executing a MICE event. As I told you, it could be meeting, conference, incentive travel, or exhibition, right? So before ending this, let me quickly run up on the top 5 international MICE destination as per the report of Global Trends last year, 2019. We haven't seen the reports of 2020, but yeah, this is something that I have access to. So Beijing, Berlin, I'm sure you all know, Brussels, Buenos Aires, Copenhagen, Istanbul, Paris, then we have London, Seoul, Singapore, Sydney, Tokyo, Vancouver, and Vienna. Sorry for that repetition. There is like Paris repeated twice. So these are the destinations. Now, why these destinations? Just because I like it? No, nothing like that. So these destinations have created their country, their governments have created opportunities or have created infrastructure in that way that it becomes an easy access and a very good host city in terms of having good convention halls, good permission facilities to do events outdoor, or if you want to do something creative, then your museums, everything getting access to it, kind of people who are friendly and less, I would say, not crime as such, but easy access to the city, it's safe to travel, etc. So these are the things which this city kind of meets in terms of parameters, ease of doing business, ease of traveling, and good connectivity from all the different parts of the world. So all the things would matter before finalizing this 15 out of 300, 400 destinations that we have across the world. Yes, India is another top destination, but I have not mentioned because I'm talking about a global trend list that we talk about. All right. So with this, I come to an end of what we started discussing about MICE events. But before I end this, I would want to show a beautiful video that kind of encapsulates the entire conversation that we had today and gives you a heads up on what we are actually talking about. This video is from a hotel called Valma that is in Europe. They have many hotels in Europe. This is one of their video that they have posted on YouTube, which talks about their De Bruyne property and the number of hotels that they have in that area and how they are meeting an incentive-friendly hotel. So this video is from that hotel. You would see the name of the hotel so that you can further Google and find out. But this is a small heads up from me before we do this. One second. It's from a hotel called Valama. Doesn't this look exciting? Huh? All right. Yes, I'm sure this looks exciting. So we were talking about MICE, meetings, incentives, conferences, conventions, and exhibition. The best incentive One of the best, sorry, one of the best incentives of being in the event industry is that when you host such events, you get to travel to such beautiful destination. You also experience, yes, you will be busy with a lot of work, but yes, you will be able to find some little amount of time to enjoy such beautiful destinations. That is the upside of being in the event industry. This video that you saw is from that hotel called Valama, and courtesy YouTube from where we got this video. Um, and I'm sure this is one just a glimpse, how Dubrovnik as a venue or as a city hosted this and has no, it has conferencing facilities, it has places to see around as the city, it has for leisure, sightseeing, etc. So everything, it's a wholesome experience for anybody who would want to conduct some nice events there. So with this, we come to the end of this, I'm sure, exciting session. And do look upon Google and YouTube for more such references. You'll get more clarity on the kind of mice events that happen across the world. I'm sure you guys will be great in what you do. Wishing you all the best. Have a great day. Thank you. And you can all reach me on the email ID that I've shared in my last slide. That's pradeep@fuelindia.co.in. Thank you. Have a great day and all the best for the future event managers.